Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that makes your entire digital life feel fast, but you probably never even see it. It's called caching. And really, it's the secret sauce working behind the scenes every single second you use your computer. Let's break down exactly how this unsung hero of speed actually works.
So let's just dive right in with a question. You've got this amazing computer, right? Top-of-the-line processor, tons of memory, and yet sometimes you still see that little loading icon spinning. You click on something, and there's that tiny but oh so frustrating pause. So what's going on there? Well, that wait, that little bottleneck, is the exact problem that caching was invented to solve.
And here it is. This is the core idea. Now, I know it sounds a little technical, but the concept is actually brilliantly simple. Anytime you have a really fast part of your computer that's stuck waiting for a slower part, you just stick a small, super fast little holding area in between them. That holding area, that's the cache. It's a simple little trick that just fundamentally changes how fast your computer feels.
Okay, so to really get this, the best way to think about it isn't with computer parts at all, but with something we all get: money. Seriously, this one little analogy is going to make everything just click into place.
Think about the money you have in your pockets right now. It's right there, you know? It's instantly accessible. You want to buy a coffee? You can grab that cash in a second. That is your cache. It holds a tiny amount of data, but it is the absolute fastest way for your computer's processor to get what it needs right this second. The only downside? Well, your pockets can't hold very much.
Now, if your pockets are empty, what's the next place you look? Your wallet, right? It takes a little more effort. You gotta pull it out, open it up, find the right bill, but it's still pretty darn quick, and it holds a lot more than your pockets do. This is your computer's RAM. It's the main workspace, holding all the apps and files you're using at the moment. It's fast, for sure, but not quite as lightning fast as the cache.
And finally, if you need to make a really big purchase, you've got to go to the bank. This is your hard drive. It can store a massive amount of money, or in this case, data. But getting to it is a really slow process. I mean, you have to drive there, maybe wait in line, talk to a teller. It takes time. And in the same way, pulling a new program from your hard drive is the slowest thing your computer does.
So this table really breaks the whole system down. You've got this hierarchy where each level basically trades speed for size. Your pockets, the cache, are the fastest but also the smallest. Your wallet, that's the RAM, is the happy medium. And the bank, your hard drive, is the slowest, but it's by far the largest. Your computer is constantly, cleverly moving data between these levels to try and have exactly what you need ready before you even ask for it.
All right, now that we've got the main idea down with our money analogy, let's look at 3 really common places where you'll find this fast lane trick being used in your computer every single day. These are the real unsung heroes of your system's performance.
So, first up is the big one, CPU cache. Your computer's brain, the CPU, is just ridiculously fast. So fast that even your speedy RAM can't quite keep up with it. So to solve this problem, engineers put a tiny, ultra-high-speed bit of memory right on the CPU chip itself. This is literally the CPU's personal pocket money. And you can see, this is that core principle in action yet again. This super-fast CPU cache acts as a buffer, so the CPU doesn't have to waste any precious time waiting around for data to show up from the slightly slower RAM. It's what keeps the engine of your computer running at full throttle. And what's so cool about this is that it's not just some abstract idea. You can actually see this on your own machine. If you pop open the Task Manager or Activity Monitor and dig into the Performance tab for your CPU, you'll see listings for L1, L2, and L3 cache. Those are literally the different pockets your CPU is using, each one a little bigger and just a tad slower than the last.
Okay, next up we've got disk cache. Now, this one is designed to tackle what is often the slowest part of the entire system, an old-school mechanical hard drive. You know, with the spinning platters and the moving arms, that's practically ancient technology in computing terms. So to speed things up, they build a small amount of that fast RAM right into the drive itself. So when your computer saves a file, it doesn't wait for the slow mechanical parts. It just sends it to this fast little RAM cache on the drive. And then your computer can just move on to the next thing immediately, while that disk cache works in the background to actually write the data onto the slow physical disk plates. It's a really clever way to hide that mechanical slowness.
And finally, there's a type of cache you deal with constantly, the web cache. When you visit a website, your browser is smart enough to save parts of that site, like the logo, images, that sort of thing, in a special folder on your computer. So the next time you visit that same site, it just feels like it loads instantly. That's the web cache doing its job. Now, it might seem a little weird to call your hard drive fast, right?
We just called it the bank. But here's the thing. Compared to downloading that same logo all over again from the internet, your local hard drive is lightning quick. In this relationship, your local storage becomes the faster medium, and it saves you time and bandwidth every single time you browse.
So this brings up a pretty logical question, doesn't it? If this cache memory is so mind-blowingly fast, why don't we just build the whole computer out of it? I mean, why even bother with slower stuff like RAM or hard drives?
Well, the answer comes down to a classic trade-off in engineering. You have to balance speed, cost, and capacity. The special technology that makes cache memory so fast also makes it incredibly expensive to produce and, believe it or not, physically large. So you get this amazing speed, but it comes at a super high price and in a tiny package. A computer built entirely out of cache would cost a fortune and could barely store anything.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. Caching isn't just some random feature. It's a fundamental design principle that makes modern computing even possible. It's that invisible hero in the background, constantly fighting against the one thing we all hate, waiting.
So, what are the big things to remember? First, at its heart, caching is just the simple trick of using a fast thing to hide the speed of a slow thing. Second, please keep that pockets wallet bank analogy in your head. It's the perfect way to understand the trade-offs. And finally, just remember that this trick is happening all over your computer, in the processor, on the hard drive, in your web browser, all of them working together to make everything feel seamless.
And just don't forget what the alternative would be like. Without this clever system, this quote is what computing would feel like. Just constant, painful waiting. Every click, every keystroke would be followed by a long pause, while the fastest parts of your computer just sat there, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the slowest parts to finally catch up. Caching is truly what makes a modern computer feel modern.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you get this core idea of putting a small, fast buffer in front of a big, slow system, where else do you see it? I mean, think about video streaming or how websites deliver content to you all around the world. This simple, powerful idea is absolutely everywhere. Once you start looking for it, you'll see it in all kinds of amazing technology. Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.